Hello and welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you out to the shed of many names on this stormy day. Now, if the thunder and especially the rain gets too heavy, I'll have to pause in the video, but I'll also pause in what I'm doing. We're going to have a little fun today. You notice I got pineapples. Pineapples are hitting the store markets now because it's pineapple season. And yes, you can make pineapple jam, pineapple preserves, can up your own pineapple juice and everything. Today, I'm going to be making pineapple vinegar. Yes, pineapple vinegar is wonderful. And if done right, it tastes amazing. And you can use it for so many things. It's wonderful in salad dressings. You can also use it in fire cider and so many other recipes. Now, first off, you want to make sure that your space, now I done washed and sanitized my arms and hands. You want to make sure that your whole area, workspace is sanitized, all your utensils and everything. And you want to make sure that you completely wash and clean. Wash the outside of your pineapples very good to get off all the dirt and any spray that it may have on it. And you're going to need a blender, some purified water. I have Berkey water. You're going to need a good sharp knife, a small spoon, chopsticks. I'm using bubblers and the tops. I am so thankful for Tammy for the fermentation kit, that beautiful blessing she sent me. And yes, we're using it again. And you're going to need a funnel and some yeast. I'll tell you about that after a while. First, we're going to get situated and get busy. And like I said, make sure your surface area, your workplace, is very sanitized. See you here in a bit. Okay, it's time to get busy. I'm going to take my top off of my blender. Still trying to get used to this. Oh, that's right. I don't have it plugged in for safety reasons. Alright, I'm going to start out with adding about 2 cups of water to the container. You want to make sure that you use either purified water or distilled water, but don't use tap water because of the chlorine and everything in it. It will not work. And I'm going to add a half a cup of Domino sugar. Now, I don't have it at the moment, but you can use raw cane sugar. That is really good to use. And what we're going to do, cut the top off, and you better believe I'm going to save it. Oh, that smells good. I'll cut the bottom off and put that in the compost bucket. This one's fairly good and ripe. And yes, you use the peels. And that's why you got to make sure that your pineapple is good and clean. And this one's good and ripe. So the sugars are going to be really high in it. And pineapples are hitting the market like crazy right now. A lot of places, they're on sale for 99 cents. And believe me, you definitely want to either make vinegar or can a bunch up. I'm going to blend this up for a little bit, so that way I have more room to put, because I'm using the whole pineapple. Let's see, there we go. Oh yeah, plug it up. I'm still trying to get used to this blender. Okay, now it's as blended as it's going to be for now. That gives me room to put the pineapple in. And yes, core, all of it. You want to try to work as fast, as you can. Hence why I say make sure that your work area is clean. Get my clean paper towel, wipe it down. Now hopefully this ain't too full. If it is, well, we'll just have to work with it. Hey, come on, baby. And I knew I was going to make a mess, but you know what? It's going to be a good mess. And I'm using 1/2 gallon jars. And you're definitely going to want a funnel, because this is going to potentially be messy. I'm actually contemplating mixing this between 2 jars, and I might be making 4 jars of vinegar, because I want a little bit more room to put some more water in. So yeah, that's what I'm going to. So and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to add just a little more sugar. Yep, that's going to be perfect there. Because you want to leave enough space for this to bubble up. And I'm going to add a little more pineapple to that one. I'm going to add just a little more sugar because I want to make sure that there's plenty of sugar in there for the first phase of making your vinegar. Now, an old secret, you can make vinegar just like this. But what you're wanting to do is you're going to be making alcohol first. That's the first process of going through making good vinegar. You have to make alcohol. Well, I want to make sure that this ends up with a really good alcohol content. So I'm going to do a little secret that my grandmother taught me. Yes, I vacuum seal my yeast. I'm going to add about 3/4 of a teaspoon of yeast. Yes, it's bread yeast. It's still going to work. Now, if you want to, you can use champagne yeast, wine yeast, but this is going to work just as well. Let me get my other rag from over here. Clean paper towel. You want to wipe the rim. Put my lid on. Make sure it's on there good. And then I'm going to take, this is called an airlock. And you have to put water in it. I'm going to put the lid back on it. Make sure it's firmly seated in the rubber seal. And I'm going to scoot that one over there. And I see the gnats are already coming to visit. And I'm going to pause you. I'm going to get 2 more jars and get set up for the other 2 jars. Bring you right back. Okay, I took a little more out of this jar to give it just even more. Of course, I'll lose some amount of vinegar, but I want to make sure that this has plenty of room to, plenty of room to bubble. I got it right down here. Let's see. We got to know for a fact it is, I'm giving it 2 inches of headspace. Always good to have a ruler around and know how to read them. Alright, now I put a little more sugar that y'all saw in here, a little of the pineapple in here. Now I'm going to put some more water in here. Make sure I have a 2-inch headspace on this one as well. I can go just a little bit more. But I want to make sure it has plenty of room to ferment and bubble and have fun. Yep. Alright, that one has 2 inches of headspace. I'm going to use about 3/4 of a teaspoon of yeast because I want the alcohol content to be higher. And in the end process, it's going to make lovely, lovely vinegar in the end. I'm going to end up with more vinegar than I expected to. But you know what? I am perfectly fine with that. The more the merrier. And of course, we're going to fill our bubblers up. Well, that one's a little too hot. Okay. Put our lid back on. And this is going to help the gases to escape. And see, and I amped already. It's going to help the gases to escape and keep the gnats out of it. Because believe me, they're going to enjoy that. That one has a little more solid mass in it, but you know what? That's not going to hurt a thing. Let's get started on pineapple number 2. And like I said, I'm going to start these tops off and grow me some pineapple plants. And like I said, you want to make sure, and there's a gnat. Got it. You want to make sure that you wash your pineapples very well. This one's extra ripe, which is fine. It'll be perfectly good in vinegar. I'm going to fill it up. About 2 cups of water. And I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to add the sugar into there. I'm going to add the sugar to the jars. And that way I know the same amount is in each jar. And of course, pineapple have a good sugar content as well. The sugar just helps feed the yeast and makes the alcohol content higher. The more alcohol content you can have in the first process of making vinegar, the better quality vinegar you make. Now, you don't have to use the sugar, but it does help. And if you don't want to, you don't have to process your pineapple. It just helps the yeast to get in there and start making that alcohol. And using the core and everything's not going to hurt a bit, because nothing goes to waste. Tough little pineapples. Oh, let me tell you, they smell wonderful. Get these babies processed down. Whoops. Let's not do that. Well, you always got to pay close attention. Because if that would have been down in the blender, that could have been nasty. Uh-oh. See, just goes to show I'm not perfect either. Uh-oh. Well, we're going to just... No, it won't work. Okay, who's causing the trouble? There we go, finally. It helps when you get it on correctly. Getting to where I really love this little blender. And I am so thankful for that yard sale. Oh, it smells so good. Alright, I have behaved long enough. Oh my gracious. Oh, it's so sweet. Oh, that's good. That was excellent. I'm going to put that in the compost pile. Blend a little at a time. Yep, I'm going to have to pour some of this into one of the jars. Yep. Oh my gracious, might have enough for three. Another one. Apparently, I'm meant to make a whole lot of pineapple vinegar. But I'm not going to be complaining. Oh, it's going to be enough for 2 jars. And don't worry, I'm going to rinse this out and put what's left over into the compost pile. Oh, messy. Definitely messy. Okay. And since the sugar's in the bottom of this jar, we're going to want to stir it very well. Paper locked. Double check for 2-inch headspace. Might as well keep them all the same. Got my 2 inches. Uh-oh. Get down there and make sure that sugar is broke up. And don't worry about the foam, it will settle down. Let's not forget our yeast. I said want good alcohol content. I might be going back to the store later on. I'll have to go shopping for family and buy some more pineapples, and I'll now make some wine. Of course, I'll bring y'all along for that as well. Make sure all the yeast gets down into the mixture. Alright, now come on. There we go. Sometimes it's difficult to get those lid and band lined up. Now, if you wanted to, you don't have to use the debubbler or the bubbler. You can use, I'd use a really good thick layer of cheesecloth, because you want to make sure, or muslin, because you want to make sure gnats do not get it down in your vinegar. And believe me, those little sneaky jokers will find any chance they can get to get down into vinegar or wine. I wasn't expecting to make this much vinegar, but you know what? I'm going to roll with it and I'm going to be happy. Alright, I've got to put a lid on this because I need to make some more water, and I'll bring you back. Okay, now that I have some more water filtered, we're going to get this final jar finished. I'm trying to beat the storm before it gets here. Check the headspace. 2 inches. I'll stir it up real good. Make sure that sugar down there gets mixed in. Which it'll eventually get dissolved. And last but not least, the yeast. And I'll have the ingredients in the description box below. That's just so I can get a higher alcohol content. The higher the alcohol content and the first fermentation, which is wine, the better vinegar you'll have turned out. You just want to make sure you get that yeast mixed in there real good. Some of them are kind of starting to do their little percolating already. Get our lid on. Get our bubbler, because I've had gnats coming to visit and ants. That's it. It does not take them long to find when you're making wine or vinegar. Does not take long. I'm going to add just a little bit more water to that. Come on. There we go. Make sure your rubber grommet is down. And there you have it. Absolutely not as much as I was expecting to make. Alright, I'm going to pause it a minute and bring you back. Okay, there we have 4 half-gallon jars of potential pineapple wine. The first process of starting vinegar. Definitely was not expecting to make 4 half-gallons, but you know what? When the universe gives you blessings, you roll with them. Now, what I'm going to do is it's going to take 3 to 7 days, sometimes a little longer, for them to bubble and then get done with fermenting. Once you see that the bubbles have stopped in the jars and the bubblers are not dancing and escaping gas anymore, you know that the wine fermenting first process of making vinegar is done. Now I'm going to stop the video here. Well, not at this moment, but I'm going to bring you back once the fermenting process is done with. Then we're going to strain them and get them ready to make vinegar. I'm looking forward to this. Now, like I said, with the added little bit of yeast, it wasn't a whole lot. I'm going to get a higher alcohol content, which means you're going to get a better finished vinegar when it's done with. And I will bring you back once these have stopped fermenting, and you'll know when they're done because you won't see no more bubbling or anything. Now, you want to make sure that your bubblers do not run out of water. You want to make sure that they stay up to the full line. Keep an eye on it. If these get really active and overflow, all you have to do is just clean your bubblers out, fill them up with more fresh water, and yeah, put them back in. Simple, easy, anybody can do this. You just gotta believe in yourself and have the materials. I've done this recipe many times, but this is the first time I've gotten 4 half-gallon jars out of 2 pineapples. So I am looking forward to this. This is going to be really good. and I will bring you back to this video once the fermentation is done. I'll see you later. Also forgot to mention, you're gonna want to, you can put these on your counter in a nice warm spot where they won't be bothered. Up on top of your fridge is fine. You just want them in a warm spot, not in direct sunlight or anything, but somewhere where they won't be bothered. And once the fermentation is done, I'll bring you back. Just wanted to say that one little reminder because not everybody's made vinegar before. So, like I said, warm place where they will be undisturbed and where you can check on them, make sure everything is fine. And I'll see you back in about 3 to 7 days. Okay, it is 5 days later and they have finally quit bubbling. And as you can tell, there are 6 jars now, not 4. I had to go to splitting a lot of the pulp down into 2 other jars. I'm telling you, this has been fun. I have had a lot of fun with this experiment. It's been a long time since I've made pineapple vinegar. And let me tell you, these were really apparently sweet pineapples. And the little bit of yeast I added to it just made it even stronger wine. So, now we are at the process of where it's pineapple wine. Now, if you wanted to, you could leave it like this, strain it, and let it, cap it off, but be careful and keep an eye on it. Or just keep the bubblers on it after straining it. Of course, clean them all out. And you can stop and make your pineapple wine. I'm going to be making some of that later on this week. But I want pineapple vinegar. So it means I'm going to have to strain this. So let's get busy. I have some more clean, make sure they're sanitized and very clean half-gallon jars. And you will see when I pour these into this, it's not going to be near as much as you think. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain it, and I'm going to put all the strainings into this bowl, and I'm going to put it into my compost pile. Oh Lord, yeah, that's wine. And of course, I'm using my favorite filter to use, the paperless coffee filter. Of course, watch out for gnats because they're all over the place now. Let me tell you, there's some alcohol content in that. Whoo-wee. Smells good though. Smells really good. Go on that. Look at that beautiful color. Some are a little darker than others, but you know what? That's perfectly fine. They're going to age, and they're going to get a beautiful color. And an ant. You want to make sure that you don't let any get on the outside of your filter. And so you can see this one got a little darker. Whew. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's the only bad thing about these solid ones. That's why I like the ones with the bottoms. Whoa. And of course there'll be some spillage. You can't help it. Just remember where you set your towel and you clean up your mess. And you get the next jar ready. And you keep an eye on the gnats. And I have a clean spoon. That's good. That's real good. And like I said, right now, it's wine. And what I do, you can use muslin. You want something that the gnats cannot get through whatsoever. I'm using two. You want it still to be able to breathe, but you want to keep the gnats out. So I'm using 2 coffee filters. And you want to tighten it down real good. And I'm leaving it right there, the mark at the collar. And when you move them, you want to be very careful that you don't slosh them around, because you don't want your coffee filter to get wet. And this time, I remembered to hold my coffee filter up. Ooh, that got a little kick to it. Not heat-wise, alcohol-wise. That little bit of yeast does wonders. Alright, I'm going to finish these other 4 jars, and I will bring you back as soon as I'm done. And I clean up my mess. See? Not everybody's perfect. I'll see you back here in just a bit. Okay, I ended up with 5 half gallons. Only reason I ended up with 5 is I had 4 and a little bit of this one full. So, well, about to here. I knocked down the amount in each jar to just right where that shoulder begins. Each one has double coffee filters, and make sure if you do it this way, make sure your bands are tight. That way no gnats can get in, because I'm telling you, gnats are amazing how they can get into stuff. Now what I'm going to do is set this on a dark shelf and let it sit for about a month or so, and then I'm going to bring y'all back. I'm going to try it. Now, do not be surprised if you start seeing gooey stuff form, because yes, you can make a mother in any vinegar, not just apple cider vinegar. And I'm hoping to get mothers in each one of these jars, which will be wonderful. Like I said, it's about to the beginning of where the shoulder starts to edge up, and that's still plenty of room for it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this tastes like in about a month and a half. Somewhere around in there is when I'm going to try it. Simple, easy, anybody can do this. It's a little time consuming, yes, but you know what? 2.5 gallons of vinegar. That's going to be, now you can't can with this, but you can, once it becomes vinegar, fire cider, salad dressings, marinades, all kinds of good stuff. And it's extremely healthy, and you know what? Homemade, so you know exactly what's in it. Pineapple, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of yeast, just to pump up that alcohol content. And let me tell you, yeah, it did pump up the alcohol content. I had to clean up my mess, because I didn't want family coming in here and thinking that I'm back here making hooch. Well, in a way I am making hooch. This is going to turn into vinegar. I hope this encourages you to make your own vinegar. Simple, easy, anybody can do this. As long as you stay sanitary and you use simple items. And you can use all kinds of fruit, everyone. Vinegar can be made out of all fruit. Now, some might not taste too good, but hey, make the vinegar that you like. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comment section below. I'm more than happy to answer them as soon as I can. Everyone stay safe, stay sound, keep your head on a swivel, keep stocking those pantries, everyone, because you're going to need as much as you can put back. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. May you each be blessed. Take care, everyone.